Mutiny. It's time for the mutiny. It's time for Eurylochus to be like, bruh, I can't believe you killed my Ice Beard dude. No, really, Eurylochus is gonna pull up, I can't believe you let us through Scylla. It's like, bruh, the other option was Poseidon murder you all, but okay.
Mutiny.
Now, those who've come to Odyssey Book Club, we've already gone through the book with the mutiny, which, again, in one book, which is sort of like one chapter, you roll through the Sirens, the Crashing Rocks, Scylla and Charybdis, and the entire incident on the island with Helios's cattle, and Zeus coming down to say, surprise, thunder time. So, like, again, Odysseus is on a mission to get home and he speed runs. So the mutiny actually takes place on the island, well, right before the island. So initially they get through Scylla and they're approaching actually this island where Helios has his herds. So it's cattle and sheep. And Odysseus is like, nope, we're not going to pit stop. We're going to keep going, which would mean, again, sailing at night in this case, and potentially without a coastline in sight. So again, this makes everybody very, very nervous. And the men are like, what do you mean we don't stop? We're fucking exhausted. We just went through Sirens where we had to row for our lives. We then were approaching Crashing Rocks, except then we went through that strait, which was a very difficult bit of navigation with some pretty intense current and water. Oh yeah, and 6 people just got killed. We're exhausted. Like, they are at the end of their rope. They are tired. I mean, again, they just did a speed run of high tension and they're at the end of their rope. They need a break. And Odysseus really doesn't want to stop there because he's gotten that prophecy from Tiresias that said, no touchy the cows, no touchy the herds of Helios. And he knows this is that island and he really doesn't want to stop there. And he's like, fine, okay, look, fine, we'll stop there for the night. Don't touch anything. We'll take a nap, basically. They get on the island, they set up, and that does seem to soothe them. And they're like, that's all we wanted. We just wanted a break. Problem is, they then have a horrible set of storms that roll in. Storms, winds, like for a month, it is said they are stuck there, unable to leave because the sea and the winds and the weather is just not in their favor. Again, bad weather comes up a lot in the Odyssey, which emphasizes again how scary sailing was for them because the weather played a massive role in it. If you didn't have winds or good weather on your side, you were kind of ooze-grade. You weren't going anywhere. So they're stuck there. And in that whole month, the food starts to run out. Because again, Odysseus was planning on making this a speed run, so even though they got supplies from Circe, they're out of food. And they're trying to, like, fish and do things to survive, but they're having difficulty. And man, those cows and those sheep are looking pretty good, even though Odysseus says, don't do it. How don't do it? Well, one day when Odysseus falls asleep, how does it? How does it? And that's really the mutiny more than anything else. Like, the initial mutiny is, yes, take a pit stop. But they make it pretty, and even though he says mutiny on their mind, he can tell if he doesn't let them stop, it's not going to be good. That's reasonably minor, even though Odysseus knows everything that's wrong, and he's, you know, on the island, he says, don't touch anything, you can fish or whatever, but don't touch anything. But once the food starts to run out and people get hungry, they get desperate. And yeah, they start slaughtering some cows and some sheep. And Odysseus sees, and he narks. That's still, to me, the funniest thing, is that Jorge really is trying to, like, turn Odysseus into this, like, more modern romantic type hero. And I'm like, oh, Odysseus sees what they does, and he goes, fucking Zeus, you see what these idiots did? I fucking told them. Who, like, they're hungry, boo-hoo. It feels like that bit from, Remember the Titans, where it's just like, oh, Joe, you want water? Water is for cowards. I will not have cowards on my team. It's like, we will be doing up-downs until Blue is no longer thirsty. Like, that's what Odysseus says. It's like, I'm fucking hungry too. Did you see me? You see me going to slaughter those cows? He's so mad. He narks. He just sort of cries out to the universe. One of Helios's daughters hears, and she's the one who tells her dad, and her dad goes to, and Helios goes to Zeus and is like, look what these bitches did. So yeah, I do find it funny. But we're going into mutiny. I think we only have like 2 for mutiny, which I'm kind of okay with because I think it's an okay song. It's really the bridge into Thunderbringer. And I do think Mutiny still has a bit of a problem with not making it clear how much time passes. And in that also, like, if all of a sudden they're hungry, we're like, how long did it take you to even get to this point? I kind of gotta wonder, especially if Circe sent you off to the underworld, like, what has the time been here? Which is why, at least in the Odyssey, again, Homer, because he's doing it in an entirely oral format, no visual aids, no nothing, he's like, yeah, they were totally fine till they got stuck there for a month. Which was really the killing blow. Anywho, Mutiny. I'm prepared to see some Buster Sword Eurylochus breaking out his best Cloud Strife cosplay. That does crack me up every time. And I'm kind of hoping I'll see some cool action. The fight is brief, but I'm hoping I'll see some cool stuff. We shall see. Okay, so for Mutiny, we have Cyril. You know, obviously, as we know, I record these reasonably advanced, so you might have told me how to pronounce your handle, but at this moment, I don't know how to pronounce your handle, and I'm very sad about that. I have yours, and I have Kisu Doodles. That's a new one to me. It looks like it's, well, the thumbnail is full color, so I wonder if the whole thing is full color. I would be like, oh my god, I hope your hand's okay if that's the case. But this ought to be fun. I'm, again, hoping for some good action. So it's really the goal here. So first we will start with Cyril. Oh, hi, Seagull. Oh, nice lead-in shot. Oh, did that bird just eat a finger? Yeah. Camera work is great.
Tell me you did not know that would happen.
I mean, you went into a cave when you probably could have gone around it.
Look me in the eyes and tell me, Captain, that you did not just sacrifice 6 men.
I like these shots that Cyril is doing. We're also showing the rest of the crew, and the rest of the crew looks fucking shell-shocked, as they should. They look devastated, and this is clearly difficult for them. So honestly, again, I appreciate that while this is very much Eurylochus' moment, he's the leader of the mutiny, it's the rest of the crew is pissed off too, and they're pretty fucked up by this incident. So I like that we're taking the time to show the crew in the back in a lot of these great motions, like gesturing back to the crew, we push in on them, do a couple quick cuts to them. Meanwhile, obviously, Odysseus is just sort of standing there like, yeah. There's some incredible motion and movement and gestures. I feel like this has even more frames than Scylla. Ooh, the dead torch.
When we fought the Cyclops, you were quick to hatch a plan. And when we fought with Circe, it was you who left behind.
Okay, transitions. And they're so smooth. How many frames were you doing? Because these transitions, these animated transitions, or transitioning through shape language of into the top of the torch, into the Cyclops eye, into, I believe it's back to Eurylochus' eye, using any imaginary smoke that would come out of it to show you Circe, which gives you the outline of a woman, into also doing the outline of a pig. These are incredibly impressive. And I can only imagine you used so many frames because they are so smooth. It's gorgeous.
I know, man, but when we saw this monster, we didn't take a stand. We just ran. Say something! I can't!
The way the background fades to black so that we're really focusing in on the people.
Then you have forced my hand.
Cutting to everyone else. Oh. Okay, it's not as much of a Buster Sword. But it is a BFS, big fucking sword. The shaky cam. Nice. Oh, nice perspective. Oh, look at this camera move. Ooh. That could have done real damage. Okay. Oh, damn. I mean, first thing I was thinking was the slash on the back of the foot. He only nicked the sandal. That could have done real damage. He could have totally slashed his Achilles tendon, and then Eurylochus would be down in the dirt like a rock. That man ain't moving anymore. I've never injured my Achilles tendon. I know my father, actually, when I was a little toddler, my brief foray into being a leash child, because my dad playing tennis completely ruptured one of his Achilles tendons, which if you don't know, like your tendons especially are almost like rubber bands. So if you rupture completely, like rolls all the way up your leg and you have to get it surgically reattached. And so my dad had to be completely on crutches. So me as a tiny little, I think I was like 2, maybe 3, running around, like he can't keep up with me at that point. So I was briefly a leash child. I think there are some photos of that somewhere, like neon pink, neon, that horrible like highlighter yellowy green color. Like just if he was with me, because he would not be able to keep up with me on crutches. But it's also, people think of Achilles, the warrior, the idea of, interestingly enough, the idea of his heel being the, or, you know, that Achilles tendon area being the only part that in which he is vulnerable is actually slightly more, it seems, of a Roman invention at the time of the Iliad. That is not part of his mythology. He's just extremely quick. He's an extremely good warrior. But getting shot in that area of the leg, if you're on the battlefield and you are someone like Achilles, who was really known for being extremely quick, you get that ruptured, you're down. You're down, you're not running, you're not moving, you are dead in the water. So it all makes sense in that way. But man, Eurylochus got lucky. That only slashed a bit of his sandal. And I will say the sandals that are being seen here with all the extra lacings and stuff, again, because of the Bronze Age and what little archaeological evidence we have and illustrations that I've seen, they don't seem particularly accurate to the period, which is not a criticism. It's just sort of like, how are you going to know unless you go look? And even then, this is your interpretation. So there you go. So he got very lucky on that shot. I loved then the bit of cutting off the bit of the cloak and then he turns around and uses it to try and strangle him. That is some amazing motion. In addition, we're moving the camera like very slow, actually, slight pannings left and right, but we're moving foreground objects to create an illusion of even more motion. And again, this is incredible. Wow. Like, look, Cyril, your Scylla was beautiful. This is incredible because the amount of motion and frames and like camera shit that you're doing in here, I hope you iced your hand. I just can't imagine how much time and work this would take. I am not letting you get in my way. Oh, I love that. Oh, look at that. My brothers. Love this, love this, love this. We're doing blurs. Now, Cyril definitely likes to use blur as a transition, like from one slate to another. In this case, we're doing the slight blurs and the doubling, the sort of double vision effect in time with the heartbeats because he's been stabbed, and it's shock and kind of the shaky cam with it. It looked like there was a slight moment of almost chromatic aberration in that stab shot as well. And I like that it came from behind. We didn't see who did it, but this has been set up with all those amazing extra shots we got in the beginning of the crew and how upset they look and how they're obviously, again, the whole thing of the mutiny is Eurylochus is the leader, but everybody else joins in. And again, I like how this was set up in the beginning of the song. The storytelling, groundwork was already laid to the rest of the crew is going to be watching this. Could you have led into it even more by maybe cutting away during the battle to seem like a hand picking up a sword or spear, whatever they want to use, and, kind of leading us even more into that? You absolutely could. That's a personal choice on the animators into whether or not they want to do that, but beautiful work. Beautiful, beautiful. Why? Oof. Oh, the rest of the men as big silhouettes. I mean, and again, I will note, a stab wound like this would kill Odysseus. And it's another reason I'm not huge on the mutiny is shit like this would have killed him back in that day. Okay. Is that a sheep or a cow? Where are we? Oh, it's a cow. Okay.
Some island, the first one we found. It's bursting with cows, just roaming around, begging us to eat. So much meat, and hunger is so heavy.
Yeah, again, this is done really well. This is done really well. And again, I just want to know part of the problem with this song and kind of elements of this saga in particular and other areas is I do think Jorge had a tendency to write himself into a corner with things that he wanted and how he changed things, and he kind of didn't know how to write his way out. For example, he wanted the mutiny to be a big dramatic fight, and he wanted to injure Odysseus and make him pass out. The problem is we've lost our sense of time. We've lost our sense of how we got here. We've lost the sense of, okay, well, why are you guys starving? What was the supply situation before this? We've lost a lot of that, and that's because Jorge wrote himself into the corner of having Odysseus get injured and passed out to then wake us up here. And again, I called it in my initial listen the issue of burying the lead. What I was leaning at was the idea of he's losing some of the overall cohesion in the storytelling, and in the sense of your audience is gonna be like, wait, how long did this take? Why are we suddenly out of food? I've lost my sense of time. Because you buried the lead of, oh, he got injured. Will he survive? For the people who don't know the Odyssey, I guess. But, I mean, to me, it seems so obvious he would survive, even if you don't know the Odyssey, because it would be kind of weird to just randomly kill off your lead character this way in the first return of the second act. It would just be kind of strange to do that. But I do like that, Cyril, you've given these men this kind of gaunt look, you know, adding extra lines under the eyes. Around here, you're emphasizing bone structure to say they're a little more sunken in, they're not doing well, and they're hungry. Really, Mutiny could be, like, Mutiny and this back half, the front half and the back half are so separate because, again, of the corner Jorge wrote himself into and tried to write his way out. It could be two separate songs. I personally, if I were to redo Thunder Saga in any way, I would not have Different Beast. Like, that whole bit of killing the sirens, I think, doesn't work. I think it's better to do it in that have them go through Scylla, and in the Mutiny, when they come out, he's like, tell me you didn't sacrifice 6 men. He goes, yeah, I did. What you gonna do about it? We want to get home. That was the choice. Have Odysseus be seeming, you know, you want him to seem monstrous to these men? Have him be wholly unapologetic about it. You're like, yeah, I killed 6 men. Price we had to pay. And that would lead into the Mutiny and whatever else you want to do. I think that would be more fitting in trying to show that Odysseus is a monster than just like, oh, you killed sirens. It's like, okay. Okay.
Anywho.
All that to say, I do like that these shots have been given. One, we're setting up the island. The cows are super cute. I'm always down for the animals looking cute. And again, this kind of haunted look to Eurylochus and other members of the crew.
The god of the sun.
Oh, interesting look for Helios. Again, these are all interpretations. Helios did not have wings. The kind of it's just a very interesting look, holding the sun kind of in his hands. The horses behind him, I would assume, would be a reference to Helios's chariot. That is how he kind of drives the sun around. Obviously, no wings, not a thing. But the solar sort of crown, like he wears the rays of the sun like a crown. That's a lot of very common imagery with Helios. Later in the Roman period, gets a kind of appropriated even more so by their version of Apollo, because Helios kind of fades out. But I like that we got to see the statue.
Where it's from, but here's where we found all these cows.
Don't know where it's from. Like, it's just so obvious that these would be marked as sacred.
Hunger is so heavy. Hunger is so heavy. Please don't tell me you're about to do what I think you'll do. Odie, we're never gonna get
Wiping
to
the image from
make it
Ithaca
home.
out.
You know it's
Leaning
true.
into the
You don't know that's true. This is the
ixnaying
home of
myself
the
out
sun
kind of
god,
attitude,
serving my
which
friend, but
is
it
definitely in the
will
Odyssey,
get
though it's
capital.
done in a
Who
slightly
knows
different
what they
way.
say? This is the home of the sun god. I'm tired, my friend, but we're so close to home. This can't be where it ends.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Again, that's in the Odyssey, but it makes more sense when they've just sped run through Sirens and Scylla and Charybdis, and they feel whiplashed and they are exhausted and they can't take it anymore, and that's why they stop at the island. So again, Jorge brought himself into a corner. He's transposing it over. It's beautiful sentiment and it's nice. It's just, to me, it doesn't quite work because, again, you sort of lost your sense of time. But the animation here really showing Eurylochus, again, that wiping of Ithaca, that he's just like, he's giving up. He looks haunted. He looks almost fully dissociated in the way that the eyes seem blank and they're not really seeing. It's being done well.
How much longer must I suffer now? How much longer must I push through doubt? How much longer must I go about my life like this when people die like this?
Oh, it's such a bad idea.
Much longer
Yeah,
must
the
we
men look exhausted.
How
Wow, look at these frames. Hair motion.
much longer must we go about?
Oh, he's somehow cutting those with something that we don't know. Oh. Someone tried to stop. Oh, first off, kind of love that the blood is yellow, making it seem more like, as they would say, what not normal blood, because again, these aren't normal cows. It really was unfortunate. Like, these cows were essentially immortal. So as much as they slaughter them, the cows sort of keep coming back to life. It's really grotesque and horrible. Hence, like, what they do is such a sacrilege. And what's interesting is in the Odyssey, they actually basically say, well, we can try to offer to Helios, maybe he'll let us get home. It seems so obvious. I think even to them that's not working. But the way they try and go about the rituals, they don't have all the proper, like, ingredients, if you will, for the rituals, so they're substituting with other stuff. So it's making it clear this is a false ritual, that this is not going to work. It's been kind of perverted and poisoned because of the fact you have done such a sacrilegious thing by slaughtering these sacred animals, which are going to keep coming back to life. And it's awful. Again, it's pretty grotesque, which leads into the horror of what they've done. They've done something that ends up causing something so grotesque. I do find it interesting that one of the crew members kind of out of nowhere, just like, I don't know, found a last bit of adrenaline and went and whoosh, got Odysseus out of the ropes, which I kind of wish we had a bit more lead-in into that. But I do like that, because I was wondering, I'm like, what is that thing Odysseus has in his hand that he's using to try and cut his ropes? I was like, wait, where did that come from? What is it? This is stuff where I'm not blaming you for this. Like, this is not really criticism for you. It's that, like, you do not have a lot of time to show these things because of the way the song works. Oh, I love these.
You've doomed us. You've doomed us all, Eurylochus!
Love that background. That cloud texture is nice.
We need to get away from this island now! Grab an oar with all the strength your arms allow! These cows
Great amount of
immortal.
frames.
They were the sun god's friends! And now that we've pissed them off, who do you think you'll send?
Oh wow, look at these frames. How many frames were you doing? This motion is so smooth. Uh-oh.
We're too late.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Big Daddy Zeus is coming. And yes, it is Big Daddy Zeus. It's the only way to say it. Wow. Holy shit. Seriously, Cyril, how many frames were you doing in that? I mean, that last bit especially, like, that motion was so beautifully smooth. Now, a lot of it I know is clearly the case of not actually having to draw more frames, but taking the image and physically moving it around, which does make your life easier. But you've got hair motion, you've got feet moving, you've got arms. There's a lot going on there, and it was very fluid and beautiful. So that must have been a lot of frames. Is your hand okay? Is your hand okay? Wow. I think I might have liked this more than your Scylla. And I did like your Scylla. Don't get me wrong. Ooh, I think I liked this even more. Mutiny was clearly, I don't know, I think you were cooking a little more on Mutiny than you were on Scylla, but that was really well done. Some really great choices. And again, that ending bit where we ramp the tension up real high, like the moment the clouds start coming in to come at the sun. Ooh, I loved that a lot. Loved that a lot. It created such a good mood, and the lighting became so interesting there. And now, of course, we go to Kisu Doodles, someone who I've never seen, so I have no idea what your art style is. I don't know if this is going to be full color like the thumbnail was. I would honestly be shook, surprised, and amazed if it was, because I just know how much work that would have to be. But I'm ready to see what you got. Ooh, violence, blood, gore, animal death, scurvy! Oh, how smart! They're suffering from scurvy! Oh, wow! Wow! Look at this!
That would happen. Say you didn't know how that would end. Look me in the eyes and tell me, Captain.
I love opening on the devastation from Scylla. They all have wounds of different kinds. It almost looks like they've got other people's bones, like, that have, you know, gone in and caused damage and or rocks or who knows what else during trying to row for their lives. I like that a lot. Again, setting up how the crew is going to be involved in this mutiny. Also, I'm still not over the fact you gave the warning for scurvy and the fact that scurvy is going to be the thing that's really messing them up, and that is just like such a smart choice. It's such a cool choice. Sorry, I'm just waiting. I'm excited.
That you did not just
a very unique style, very different from other stuff we've seen. Oh, I love that.
That this is awesome trick the gods have sent.
Some serious chests.
Not miss home so painfully bad that you gave up the lives of 6 of our friends. When we fought the Cyclops,
oh my
you
god,
were quick to hatch a plan. And when we fought with Zeus,
the hands of the dude who was rowing are still stuck to the thing. That other guy, I mean, he's not there. He's gone. Wow. This is such a good choice. I mean, yes, this is, you could say, obviously in some places quite graphic. I like it. We're emphasizing why would this mess them up so bad, especially when you consider a whole bunch of them got trapped in the Polyphemus cave, and that was, if you remember, if any of you have, you read book 9 of the Odyssey, it's graphic. It's disgusting the way it's described how these men get eaten because they're stuck there for a couple days. It's pretty traumatizing. I like that we're really showing the trauma and the sense that a lot of them are starting to are broken and are breaking. Wow.
It was you who left behind no man.
Oh, and there's pieces of the men which would be so traumatizing.
We just ran. Say something. I
can't. Everybody blank. Like,
then
seriously?
You have forced my hand.
Everyone in the back. Ooh.
Lower your weapon. No can do. You miss your wife so bad you drain the
I love the expressions of the crew in the back have changed slightly.
You know you'd have done the same. If you want all the power, you must carry all the pride.
Look at this motion. Wow. This sword fight, though. What a hell of a sword fight. Oh my god, Kisu, this is amazing work in showing the sword fight. And I like that you did a whole bunch of it in a much more, not quite wide shot, but not quite medium shot, like medium wide shot, was what we'll call it, because it lets me see. Even though obviously this is an animatic, you're not doing every frame, and dear God, I would not expect you to. I like that because it lets me see essentially the fight choreography. The fight choreography is the coolest part. And it's something that I need Hollywood to get back on board with, which is show me proper, beautiful choreography for fight choreography in slightly more wide shots. I don't want a billion edits. I want to actually see what you're doing, especially if you're doing it like this. And this sword fight looks amazing. Amazing. The anatomy, the gesture, the way that you're moving the camera around just enough to keep the interest while they are moving up, high, low. This is incredible. Incredible. It's like a dance. It's like a dance. I love it.
There is no mercy.
Ooh, got him in the camera. Oh. And this time it's Eurylochus who hurts him.
Why? How are we supposed to trust you now? Now your time has come, your love's run out.
Wow. Immediately trying to staunch it. I love that. I actually love that a lot. Wow, that was so dynamic. And you did it so that it's not somebody who comes and stabs him from behind. It is Eurylochus who does it. And I like that you did a slash. So that would be really bad, but if it's shallow enough, I can understand Odysseus not dying from serious blood loss, but that's a nasty wound. And the fact that immediately, by the way, again, the pose on Eurylochus after doing the slash, gorgeous. Your posing and gestures for this whole fight was... chef's kiss. I love it. I love really well choreographed action. Makes me happy. I'm an action girly, so I love it. The fact that Eurylochus immediately panics, like that completely makes him go, what have I just done? He's panicking. We see him crying, immediately runs to catch Odysseus. Beautiful, again, bit of animation there, and starts staunching the wound and treating it. We're seeing the immediate gut reaction, the immediate flip, and how we go from Eurylochus super angry to no longer angry. And the fact that the crew seem like these kind of shadowy figures, because Odysseus is kind of losing his consciousness a bit. He's obviously in shock. You could make an argument, I bet, and Kisudutos, I don't know if this was your intention, that the voices of the crew he's hearing, how are we, are we supposed to trust you now? All of that could just be in his head. They might not be saying any of that, because if they're running in to try and staunch bleeding, the rest of the men are going to be shouting like, get supplies, get something, like none of us are doctors, none of us know what we're doing, but hey, we gotta try. So that could be something that's in Odysseus' head and what he's thinking, even while seeing that immediately they're trying to save him. Still on the ship?
Where are we? Some island. The first one we found.
Mortar pestle, mixing some stuff.
With cows just roaming around, begging us to eat. so much meat, and hunger is so
Yeah, probably has a fever. Wow, a lot of people look sick. Ooh. Okay, Helios, damn. Kisu, I think I really like your style. You've got these guys being muscly. Muscly is good. Oh, immediate panic. I love seeing the expression change. And the idea that he's ill, which helps to why he's so weak sounding in that moment. And how when he gets that last burst of energy of row faster and all that, it's truly going to be kind of his last bit of adrenaline that's going to kick through. So this is the scurvy. Everyone is sick. I like that. It adds to why, while this could be seen as a moment of horror, which it absolutely is, like dawning realization in horror on Odysseus, we are seeing that also they're ill. Like, Eurylochus is checking him for fever. People are ill. They're not at their top form anymore, including Odysseus, who also is injured. But also that Helios statue. He was delectable. Absolute snack.
Odie, we're never gonna get to make it home. You know it's true.
Sad smile.
This is the home of the sun god.
I'm starving, my friend.
But if you kill his cattle,
I love the strong features for Eurylochus.
This is the home of the sun god.
I'm tired, my friend.
But we're so close to home, this can't be where it ends.
How much longer must I suffer?
Wow, yeah, see? Oh, I see the scurvy. Yeah, everybody's sick. It's not just about you, Odysseus.
How much longer must I go about my life like this when people die like this? Whoa, how much longer
Is it just gonna be Eurylochus?
How much longer must we push through hell? How much longer must we
Making it. Yeah, the tease, everything. Gosh. Oh, and the cow is so cute. I'm gonna be sad.
Eurylochus,
Ooh,
no!
the statue looking at him. I love the idea of the statue looking down like, oh, you didn't.
You've doomed us. You've doomed us all, Eurylochus!
Captain?
Yeah.
We need to get
Look
away
at that
from this
lighting!
island now! Grab an arm with all the strength your arms allow!
I see the yeah, I like the addition of this. It's like, it doesn't matter how you row, especially if half your crew that you've got left is sick. They can't row. They're stuck. You see them picking up each other. They're really ill. But that little bit of lighting and lightning with the flashing, love it. Again, also love the statue. Basically, you know, you always get that feeling with like paintings or statues. It feels like they're looking at you. I love the way that's done as Eurylochus goes to slaughter the cow. Like, it's looking down like, you really want to do this. And again, it ties into the thing at the start of the Odyssey. As Zeus says, humans fucking blame us for the choices they make. You made a choice. And it is seeing that, you know, Eurylochus has these multiple moments of just like, he just gets swept up in what he's feeling. And then once he does the thing, it's, oh shit. Granted, the fact that it happens twice in one song is, yeah, whatever. I'm really loving this animation. Holy shit. Kisu Doodles, is this one of the only animatics you have? Because I'm also going to look at my list keepers, like, how have you been gatekeeping Kisu Doodles from me?
These cows were immortal. They were the sun god's friends.
Yeah.
And now that we've pissed them off,
Yep,
who
move
do
the
you
rudder.
think you'll send?
Look at that ship, it looks so good. They're trying. Ooh, ow. Oh, and he's bleeding again. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Clouds rolling in. Thunder time. That was amazing. Amazing. Holy shit, Kisu Doodles. Holy shit. You've kind of been gatekept from me. I'm not gonna lie. Kisu, directly to you. You've been gatekept from me. From, I don't know, the whole fandom, from my list makers. That was incredible. One, I really do like your art style, so that helps. There's muscles. I like me some muscles. We know I like my muscly Greek men, because they would be muscly. And I love the way that you interpreted a lot of moments of that song, and also, again, not afraid to show, I mean, you could say element of body horror to a degree with illness, injury, remnant of a battle, I mean, body parts all over the place. And why is everybody so put to the point of desperation? Half the crew is sick. They're dying. It's showing that was such a smart choice, and it's done in such a great way where it doesn't feel gratuitous. It doesn't feel like it's just done to shock. It's showing you essentially one of the many potential realities of being in a situation like the Odyssey. You're off the map. You're not sailing along known coastlines. You're frequently in inhospitable territory. You're not doing well, basically. Which, if you consider maybe they were stuck on that island for a month and they were running out of supplies, something like scurvy or other illnesses could absolutely set in and add to the desperation. If also then people are getting fever or anything else, they can get slightly delirious and whatever. Now, again, in the Odyssey, the mutiny of the slaughtering of the kettle is a very conscious choice. And the crew even try to be like, maybe, you know, it'll be okay if we sort of do it like a proper sacrifice, except of course it's been perverted. It's not a proper, corrupted. It's not a proper sacrifice, which, you know, Homer makes extremely clear. So there's far more intention in that, and that they have thought this through. They're aware of the consequences and they do it anyway, which I think speaks to an even greater level of desperation, where you know this will likely get you killed and you do it anyway because you are that desperate. I think that speaks to even more desperation. But wow. Wow, I'm just so blown away by the art in that. That was incredible. And that was our mutiny. Some great fight sequences, which again, I'm an action girly. I like my fight sequences. I got to see the choreography, super fun. Both artists doing very different takes, but very dynamic and interesting takes. And I love the dread that comes in that final bit of the song. And that means we all know what that means next. It's thunder time, baby.